Hello, my name is Julian Tiongson, Manager of Product Marketing here at Five9. And today I'm joined by Scott Stevenson, Chief Executive Officer at Deepgram. Scott, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for introducing me. I'm Scott. I'm CEO of a company called Deepgram. We're a foundational AI company that builds speech recognition and generative AI, and happy to be here.
Well, happy that you're here to join us today. So tell us a little bit more about Deepgram and your deep end-to-end learning approach.
Yeah, so this is a new approach that we developed, and Deepgram's been around for about 8 years now, so since 2015. And we were the first to bring it to market and the first to scale it as well. And the approach is to build a system that is fully deep learning. There's no pieces in it that have to be tuned by a human. And what this means is it learns by example from your data. And so you pile in a whole bunch of data, and then it gets used to all the different accents and different modes of speaking that everybody has. And we pioneered this in the beginning, but now, of course, that's how a lot of deep learning is done.
Following up on that, can you talk about some of those key differentiators from Deepgram and, compared to those other automatic speech recognition solutions?
Yeah, the old way to do this was a bit of a piecemeal approach. So you'd have one section that tried to remove noise from audio. You'd have another section that tried to guess basically the alphabet of sounds that somebody would speak. So like ah, oo, k, the, z, that kind of thing. And then you'd have another model that tried to put those together into words. And then you'd have another model that would try to figure out what does that mean from a sentence perspective, and then add punctuation, all these things. So each one had its own individual model. And that approach works okay, but it doesn't work very well. It's not the best in the world. The best way to do it is to string it all together and have one model and then show it examples, millions of examples, and then have it learn by that approach. There's also a second benefit, which is it's much, much faster. And a third benefit is that it can be adapted to your data as well. So you can imagine if you had all these different systems strung together, then it would be very difficult to update them for an individual customer. But if all you have to do is have the model learn by example from your data, and it just gets better and has world-class accuracy, it's much easier. And so that's how our system works.
So why should users build with Deepgram? What are some of those key benefits?
One of the best benefits is the low latency. And generally, this matters to folks who are using voice AI in real time. So they'll need speech recognition in order to understand the words that people are saying. And if you have to wait a second or 2 seconds or so in order to figure out what the words are, then you have to process afterward to figure out what result you should speak back to them, et cetera. Then you have a problem because the user is very bored at that point. They're frustrated, et cetera. So you need really, really fast processing. Generally, what that means is like 100 to 500 milliseconds, so around 1/10 of a second to half a second. And if you can't process in that amount of time, then the user's going to get frustrated. And so our systems are all under that 500 millisecond range on average. And so that's one of the first big differentiators. But if it's fast, it doesn't matter if it's not accurate. So it has to be accurate and fast. And this is where the end-to-end deep learning approach and our 8 years of experience building this type of system comes in. That's what we spent all of our time on and built and pioneered, and it works really well. We're the leader in the industry now.
So how does Deepgram enable ultra-low latency while maintaining high accuracy?
I like to think about this like building any complicated system. You could think about building a rocket, for instance. It has to be tall, it has to be pointy, you have to light a fire at the end, and usually they're made of like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber and that kind of thing. Any of us could say, hey, that's how you build a rocket. But actually making it work, not blow up on the launch pad and make it to space and land back on its landing pad, et cetera, all of that is very difficult and takes a lot of technical talent to get it going. It takes years of effort as well. It's a similar thing for deep learning models, especially for voice. You need a huge data set. You need your own GPUs at really large scale in order to train these models. And you need a lot of know-how and time in order to put those models together. And so we've done that. We have spent the time over the last 8 years to make that real. And our team now makes that available via API form for everybody to use.
So how can users get started with Deepgram with Five9?
You can talk to your account manager or professional services rep. It's in Studio 7 in Five9 now, and you can use Deepgram that way in real time, and you can use it in batch mode as well.
Well, Scott, I want to thank you for joining us today, and it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, thank you so much.